Hello, everybody. We are back with the second match of the semifinal between TC and 82nd Airborne. My name is Abinus. I'm the tournament host. I am going to be your play-by-play guy today, and I'm joined in the booth by Tom and Chef. Thank you both for rejoining us for this second match.
I wouldn't miss this one, not after the first match.
Yeah, same. Looking forward to it.
So we're coming to you live as start time is in 20 seconds. We got the start time a little late there, but we are getting started in just a minute. And 82nd has chosen Roer Riverhouse after defeating TC on their selections in match one. So I think 82nd in the driver's seat for this series right now. They're definitely a team that is rehearsed and practiced on this strong point. They have definitely spent time on this. They have brought other teams in this tournament here, the same way that TC has brought other teams to Roer on St. Marie du Mont. So be really curious to see what 82nd's approach is going to be here on Roer Riverhouse. TC is in blue. They are on your left. 82nd is in orange. They are on your right. That's just for consistency between the broadcasts. But, oh boy, I think TC felt really good about the last match until the last 5 minutes. And I think they were a little bit shocked and surprised by the end result there. They've got to keep some composure here and really make sure that they don't get too hot, don't get too animated, and they are ready to go heading into what could be they got to win this or they head to losers bracket. So what to look for here? I mean, what are the key things? I mean, obviously we have the big house. We're going to talk a lot about that on River House, but 82nd choosing allies, I think is interesting. I think I might prefer being Axis here personally, but clearly 82nd feels they have an advantage on allies.
I've had some great games on this map from the Axis side, but this is a tough map. But if 82nd chooses their spots right, they have great downhill shots. But as we look at it, both teams kind of playing the same thing. But TC's really rushing that house. They're in there tight right now.
Yeah, TC definitely going in for the house. 82nd attacking on this non-neutral. So they have, they don't need to worry about resetting OPs in case they don't cap. So that's good on them. We're seeing really nice rockets coming in right now for both teams, really utilizing rocket launchers to maximum effect. We're going to see fights taking place all over the place here. You have, if I just go and look at stream here, the height difference on this map is absolutely enormous. The top of the hill here where you're seeing this fight take place is so downhill to where the riverbank and the buildings are. So this is a very vertically intensive map, and it's a challenge for both teams. I will say so far, TC is doing a nice job controlling in and around the building, but 82nd getting capture progress. I think it's because 82nd just has more people in the zone, and it looks like, yes, Dog Squad for TC did not get his outpost down, or he died before it got down, or I didn't see how it got eliminated, but that's going to give 82nd the zone, I think, although TC puts it into a contest right at the very end here of that capture. I think 82nd's going to get it. Now, the key is TC is going to need to reset these OPs, and they need to make sure their squad leads stay alive when they do so.
And that is something we saw in round one as well. Some unfortunate timing, but a couple of TC squad leaders went down either just before or just after the cap. And we're seeing there's still 2 up.
And I'm waiting.
All 3 TC are alive.
Yep, Dog OP goes up. I'm waiting for Charlie OP goes up. And I think Abel is dropping back to drop his. So it looks like TC is, so all 3 OPs for TC go back up. So that's very good from TC. They don't give up any significant ground here. So that was very good from them, but really got to give credit. 82nd captures the zone. And right now, this is a story of 82nd utilizing MGs to extreme effect in this backfield, really preventing TC from crossing open spaces.
We're seeing a good concentration of TC on the south hill. They're pushing 82, AD back a fair bit here. They've got good numbers higher. And this is one of the things about Hill 400. You need to maintain a good, stable line. If you have holes in your line, it's very easy for someone to just slip through. Even just accidentally. They'll slip through and be able to turn that flank.
Well, that's the thing about this whole map. That holds true almost anywhere on here.
Exactly.
Holes in the line, and you've got enemies in the backfield. Quick.
As I mentioned, that south side, 8280 regains control, winning more gunfights.
Yeah, and it looks like TC is not really caring about this very southern side of the map, and I think that's a bit of a tactical mistake there from the TC team. 82nd does lose a squad lead, so I guess some folks from TC are looking up that hill, but there's definitely a big hole there if we're talking about holes in the line. TC definitely giving up a pretty good amount of space there to maneuver.
I'm seeing capture progress now for TC.
Right, so, TC, in order to win this game, TC is going to need to sneak a player into the backfield of 82nd and wipe some outposts. I think if the lesson from last match was anything, did TC battle back and get in? Yes, but they could never dislodge 82nd from the strong point itself, right? So I think if TC wants to go for any kind of convincing win, they're going to need to get into this backfield of 82nd, and they're going to need to eliminate OPs. I don't see a way for them to get a convincing win any other way. And I think TC is a team that's used to just like kind of outgunning their opponents, and that's kind of their key to success. And I think here they've really kind of met their match. We saw the scores in match 1. 82nd had really high scores, and in particular, Ghost Recon on 82nd had an absolutely massive score.
Yeah, and on the south side, Dog Squad, that's Gem Squad, we've got Mund and Cobra Tiger. They are right at that southern edge, and they're controlling it. We've got TC moving up to meet them now, but that's a lot of southern pressure, and 8280 are still winning those gunfights. There's a lot more 8280 bodies on the southern hill, and that could be a big problem for TC.
Absolutely, and you are starting to see now the early stages of 82nd looking to establish a fairly high line here. There's not a whole heck of a lot of TC anywhere except around the buildings. And, we did see a match on this strong point a couple of weeks ago between TAW and 143rd. And TAW pretty much utilized the same strategy that 82nd is doing right now. So I think TC's got to be really careful here. I mean, the south side is falling apart for TC pretty quickly, and you're seeing players from 82nd really running unopposed on that very southern flank.
I think this could be a huge problem for TC right now. They've got 2 squads squashed in just north of the strong point, but the thing about Roer River House, that strong point is almost entirely in the clearing. It's very open. If you're in the strong point, you're either in the building or you're dead. So that south hill is so important because that's where your knife fight range gunfights are going to happen, and 8280 are winning them. And as you mentioned, that they're pushing to the east and they're getting around behind TC. TC needs to reestablish the south hill, or else they're going to get hemmed in on the north, eventually cut off and pushed out. As I say that, they are capping.
Yeah, something of note. I mean, Roer River House is one of the weird outliers in this mode, right? Because I think the vast majority of the strong points, I think basically all of them except Roer River House, the objective is get to the strong point, secure it at the end with big numbers inside of the circle. Roer River House, there is no real way to get inside of the circle without dying. So it really becomes a battle around the edges. And I will say, TC really battling back here along the riverbank.
The river was huge.
Yeah. And really doing a nice job. So TC now getting some of this position back along the riverbank. They're kind of like saying, you know what, screw the southern hill. We don't really care. And they're just going to kind of maybe brute force their way in alongside the riverbank. And something I highlighted in the TAW 143rd game a couple of weeks ago, I mean, this riverbank is a hellscape. I mean, there's so much micro terrain, there's so much cover, there's so many places to get hit, so many angles to get shot from. It is just so hard to make any kind of progress there. But TC has gained a pretty good amount of ground alongside the riverbank, but it's coming at the cost of they have really just said, screw it. Like, who cares about the southern hill? Which they do need to be careful. Because if 82nd does manage to hold on to the strong point and can maneuver some forces alongside the southern edge of that hill, TC is going to get pinched off in and around the buildings. So far, so good. Those 3 players from 82nd are holding, and they're not advancing. I think they're trying to be really disciplined here, try to prevent TC from getting anyone in alongside their back line. But so far, TC hanging in there in good numbers in and around the strong point, and 82nd not really leveraging that southern hill quite yet.
We're down to just Soviet Slug on this northern riverbank, seeing if they can hold out against the 8280 push. It looks like 8280 realizes they've got the numbers advantage on the riverbank.
Well, squad leader for 82nd does go down there. That was Terminator for 82nd, so he goes down, but Soviet gets traded in return. I will say, though, squad leader kills, broadly speaking in this game mode, are really important at any time. I mean, any time that you eliminate a squad leader and you can call out the fact that you have done so, or at least you think it's a squad leader, that is really valuable information in this game mode, because that is time where you know an OP is in a set position that can't be moved. As I say that, you are seeing now a fairly significant action here on the south side from 82nd in good numbers, maybe starting to sweep down this hill, and it looks like Cloyne and So Lucky doing what they can, but 82nd now with big numbers advantage, and maybe they're going to try and exploit this southern hill a little bit more.
I think we're seeing that happening. Gem, Oni, Ghost Recon, and Rember, they are pushing quite aggressively now, looking like they're trying to envelop Doodlebug's outpost.
Yeah, and I think TC in big trouble now on the southern flank. A lot of dead blue people.
Up there. Yep.
And a lot of alive 82nd now sweeping. TC in big trouble now as the south is really starting to unravel. TC really needs to either get this strong point or reestablish control of the southern side, and it's going to be hard to do both simultaneously, because 82nd now just sweeping down in big numbers right down this hill. I think TC is in some trouble.
We've just seen Ghost Recon take out an OP down here as well. Gem is pushing right up to the back line as well. So this is looking very sketchy for the TC. They've not made any additional progress on the north, and they are getting pinched off hard.
Yeah, I think now Gem has the opportunity to really maybe put TC in a very bad position. If he finds both of these outposts and he's flashed one, if Gem eliminates both of these OPs for TC, they are in a really tough spot.
He's right on him.
And he gets
but
one.
But we do have TC looking the other way.
Gem gets one, and he's looking for two. Oh, and he's dropping players left and right.
God.
He's just killed random before he could reset, and he killed nuclear.
But an MG Mad Bro does save, at least for now, the Charlie OP, and they do spawn back in. So Charlie Outpost stays alive long enough to get the spawn. So, okay, crisis averted, at least for now. But TC now has only got one OP in the zone, and two squads now have to run in from spawn.
Yep, we have, who's that? Doodlebugs' squad is pushing hard on that north. Looks like they're going to try and reestablish on that hill.
And they do drop an 82nd player quickly. So it looks like TC is going to go for a big concerted force on the south side in big numbers. Maybe try to draw 82nd away from the strong point a little bit here and try and open the map back up. I will say TC really does need to open this map up. They're a little too concentrated and a little too predictable in that position that they were in. So to try and go a bit wider here and force 82nd to react is not a bad idea.
Absolutely. I think the concentration on that north side, I think they just got squeezed back a little bit. They were losing gunfights. So they consolidated in, but that gave 8280 too much room. And then we just saw it pay off for 8280 there. Because with the serious amount of bodies going down on the north side, we were seeing 8280 make a lot of progress there as well. Yeah. So there was a lot of depth that TC had, and they've now lost because of the pinch.
Absolutely. And one player from TC has snuck through the line here. This is Ghoster. And I think Otego hears him. He's kind of looking that way, so he clearly knows there's somebody. Let's see.
He's hunting for him.
He's hunting. Ghoster's looking the wrong way. He's gonna get shot in the back here. Ghoster not looking in the right direction, and Otego finds him. So really nice job there from Otego. Nice pickup, and he prevents that player from TC getting into the backfield.
Just to shout out Rember as well, kind of guarding Otego's front. That's good because he's holding off 3 guys there. So that's good to help 8280 reestablish on that south.
Ghost Recon kind of operating alone here. He's about to run into Dog Squad Leader. I believe that's Random. Random does eliminate him. So Random able to drop the top fragger for 82nd there along the line. I will say that, Charlie Squad has held on in this position in and around the buildings, but they are alone and they're heavily outnumbered. TC really struggling right now to get control in the zone. Really struggling. And you got to give some credit to 82nd. Like, the composure of this line is outstanding. You have MG still sitting up on that hilltop, suppressing down in towards the buildings. I mean, 82nd has definitely thought about this. They have some set positions that I'm seeing that they are utilizing that are very strong. That is just doing really nice work for them. And they're kind of running rampant right now. I mean, they've got a huge wide open middle with really no players from TC in that spot. There's one automatic rifleman for TC in that location. That would be Tyler. You got 2 players from 82nd. TC trying to do something on the southern hill, but a nice force there from 82nd there. TC now getting some huge numbers in and around the buildings, trying to push in towards, but that MG is really cutting them down. I don't know.
TC are so heavily concentrated that they're kind of stumbling over themselves in that building. 82AD has established a great line, which is what I was saying earlier about Hill 400, the map in general, which is what they need to do, and they're doing it fantastically. Like, massive advantage to 82AD right now. We've just gone over the 15-minute mark. So just over 14 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I mean, TC really, at risk here. This is not looking super good for them as we see a squad leader. I believe this is probably Gem again. Yeah, Gem is moving in on this dog OP. And he's looking for it, and he drops an automatic rifleman. That's Tyler goes down. I mean, Gem alone has done a lot of damage to this TC team as we see Charlie Squad having to redeploy from base spawn. I mean, 82nd just exploiting TC right now. I mean, really just preventing TC from getting any kind of semblance of control anywhere on the map. As we see, Gem is continuing to flash this OP, and no one from TC seems to be able to find it. The squad lead for TC goes down. That's Random. 4 players are looking for Gem. He's right around. He drops 2, but he does go down. So
finally went down, yeah.
OP gets saved.
So yeah, fantastic play from Gem there, I will say, because he drew 4 players back, took out an officer, which obviously prevents Doodlebugs from moving his OP further forward. And yeah, just drag those numbers away from the strong point, giving 82AD more time to sweep that north position. So great play there by Gem.
Yeah, I mean, Gem and Ghost Recon for 82nd have been the players to watch. And right now we have a rifleman from TC. This is Ron, who has kind of slid into the 82nd line. He could do a little bit of damage there if he can stay alive. I don't know if he's going to be able to. I think that MG has found him. He's getting sprayed in that direction, and now I'm seeing a squad leader for 82nd is doubling back. So I think Ron is going to get spotted here.
Leaders.
Yeah, everyone's that's some great communication from 82nd there. MG spots Ron. It's communicated. They're looking for him. Look, 4 players now converging from 82nd, trying to find Ron, and he does go down. That is outstanding.
That is amazing coordination.
That is fantastic. Really good communication from 82nd. Just, and it's 2 squad leaders as well, just zoning in on the 1 player from TC.
But it is worth noting that during that time, TC has now pushed hard on the north, and they've gained a lot of ground, and that is some good play, because they've evidently won a bunch of gunfights there. That's some good play from TC on the north.
Absolutely, and we've got we started at 1:15, so we're at like 11 minutes to go, right?
Yeah, just under 12 minutes remaining.
So really, TC has got to make something happen here. They are really massing everybody on the north side, which is not a bad idea, but they have not been able to deal with these suppressing MGs that have been spotting them. They've been getting marked. And I think TC is actually doing a decent job of winning a lot of like the close-in gunfights, but the MGs for 82nd have been the difference. They are just preventing TC from gaining any significant ground in this match.
Yeah, 82AD's positioning right now is fantastic. They are not looking for a box out. It looks like they are looking to just keep TC corralled on that north side. They are happy to just gun TC down time and again, and they're just going to hold their line and just inch it forward every so often.
Absolutely.
They're not looking to push it for a box out quickly. They're just patiently expanding their sphere of influences, when it's opportune to do so.
And what's
So,
really
fantastic
impressive
posture.
is that 82nd has been holding this, north side of the map outnumbered. I mean, there's an entire squad of 82nd on the south side that have really not been in any kind of heavy fighting during this match. And the positioning from 82nd is making the difference. Like, who cares if you're outnumbered if your positioning is so strong? And that is really what 82nd has been able to leverage. Like, just keeping those positions has allowed 82nd to fight outnumbered on the side. And that's just really good stuff. 82nd utilizing positioning and locations on this map to extreme effect. And you are seeing now, I know we were just saying 82nd maybe not thinking about a box out, but this very much looks like a box out play from 82nd right now.
I think maybe they realize their positioning now and are maybe going to go for it. And also worth noting that, they're collapsing. Also worth noting, like 80-80, Mund and Otagu up on the south, they're holding. They're there as a backstop in case TC switches gears and tries to come on the south. So again, just very good posture and positioning from 80-80.
Yeah, this is just a positioning masterclass from 82nd right here. I think, as we saw on Roer, it was pretty even. I think both teams had extremely strong moments. But 82nd clearly did some prep here. They look rehearsed is what I'm trying to say. Like this looks like they practiced the heck out of this. Because the positioning they've been holding is really stationary. They're just holding some very select positions as you see rockets are flying across the map here. You just got to give some credit to this 82 team who really, they did not mess around. They had a plan and they have executed it, and it is working. TC really struggling right now as a team to get any kind of concentrated push through on these buildings. The MGs, the players up on this kind of bowl-shaped hill that surrounds Roer River House have just prevented TC from getting anywhere. And with 8.5 minutes to go. So an interesting moment
here. We're on the south side. We've got TC Nuclear pushed on that south hill. He's going to run into those two backstop players from 80-80. And he goes down.
And he goes down
right
away.
That's exactly why those two players are out there. So that is good discipline. That is really strong discipline from 80-80. If they'd pulled in along with everyone else, that would have been a hole for them to exploit. But that is perfect positioning, perfect discipline.
And what's more important is that Nuclear dies and he does not reset an outpost. So now his entire
Charlie
squad...
OP still up on the north side?
No. Charlie OP is down. So Nuclear, I think, was trying to reset his squad on that side, and now his squad is going to need to run in from the outposts. And TC getting a little tight on time here. I mean, there's not a lot of time, and what they have been doing thus far has not worked. They have not really gotten anywhere.
And I hope Nuclear takes this as advice rather than bad-mouthing, but I think that is a little bit of panic. Because typically speaking, you mentioned it earlier, any squad leader kill is important. Leading with your squad leader in this game mode is a bad idea, because exactly what happened there can happen. True. Someone just takes pop and your squad leader's down and the rest of your squad has to wait again. The better move there would have been to have one guy go in front of him and he falls on 20-30 meters behind, because then you've got the extra depth to wait. So if someone does pop up and take you out, then you've still got the squad leader.
Yeah, and TC in big trouble right now. I mean, you're seeing a huge...
Yeah, this doesn't look good at all.
I mean, this does not look good for the camp. Really looks like 82nd is maybe about to establish a box out here as they're converging on these OPs. TC with 6 minutes and change. I mean, I'm sure they're maybe a bit befuddled in command chat right now. I'm curious to know what's actually being said. They've tried a couple different things. They tried to sweep north. They tried to sweep south. They've tried the riverbank. They haven't really gone big in the middle. I feel like that might be the one last thing they could try, is to try the middle of the map to try and maybe use the bowl to their advantage, get those sight lines and maybe push down, because that is fairly weak for 82nd right now. There's not a lot in the middle. There's just a couple players. So they've got to try something, and I don't think I think they're beating a dead horse on this riverbank right now. I just don't think, if they haven't gotten anywhere in the last 15 minutes, I don't see how the last 5 minutes and change is going to be any different.
True, but the thing with TC is they think 82nd is everywhere, so they don't think there's an opening. They haven't seen one.
Yeah, and there's an additional risk if you go through that middle, because obviously you've got the South Hill guys, and then the North Hill. So the South Hill can look down on you in the middle, and the North Riverbank can look up at you. So you'd be putting yourself directly into a crossfire. So it'd be possible, but they'd have to really mass the numbers and get lots of smoke out. And I don't think we're seeing any positioning shape up to do that.
Yeah, and I think barring like a really massive effort from TC, I think we're getting set up for an RO 82nd winners final next weekend. I think TC in the next 5 minutes is going to have to do something that they have not done yet, and that is gain some significant ground, and they are not really in position to do that right now. You still see at the very top of your screen 2 players from 82nd accompanied by a rifleman, Remba, and they are just preventing anyone from slipping through on that side. And I just think TC is just kind of out of ideas. It's what it looks like, at least, you know? They just have not been able to get anywhere past, the opening 5 minutes of this match.
Yeah, I think the only thing I could see TC maybe doing is massing on the north side and just doing huge smoke pushes.
Right.
But again, I don't think I see the numbers there to accomplish that.
Yeah, I think...
And 82 AD again is like they're enveloping the northern push, and they've got enough depth on the south side to resist any push there. And we're seeing Random on his own against Mund on the south.
Yeah, and Random does not have his OP up, so he's going to need to be careful here. He's getting spotted by an MG, and he does go down. So I think... I honestly think TC might be a little out of ideas here. They're probably feeling some pressure from all sides. And you're right, when you're losing in this game mode, it feels like the enemy is everywhere. And I think that's the feeling that TC has had in this match. They just have not been able to get anywhere to get them in a position to make an impact on 80-second OPs. And I'll say, I don't think an 80-second OP has flashed this entire game.
No.
I don't think they've been under threat at all. And you just got to give credit. Now, I will say that a squad leader... This is Nuclear for TC.
Oh, yeah, Nuclear.
Now, he has slipped through the line. He has. Now, he's got to find a way to get his OP up and get to the circle and not get spotted. He does drop one.
He just engaged. I think that's a huge mistake.
It's probably a mistake to engage. He probably should have
let him go by.
Just got to let that player go by there, because if you can just get past, eliminate that OP, and drop your outpost next to the building, and all of a sudden you can actually get some capture progress, it's going to force 82nd to turn off the line, and then all of a sudden this is a very different match. So I think maybe...
I think the trigger discipline there was a huge failing.
True.
With 3 minutes remaining, we could have seen exactly what happened on Roer. We could have seen if he'd pushed even further to the west.
He was close to that outpost.
He was almost on that outpost, too. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
If he could have just taken that one out and placed his, it would have changed the game.
Would have completely opened the matchup. Would have completely up, because then no one from 82nd is really in position to deal with that.
Whereas now there's plenty of 82 AD in the same place where he just slipped through.
Right, and
there's no way he's going to do it again.
2 minutes and change here. Barring an absolutely immense push from TC in the final few minutes, I really think 82nd is in the driver's seat. And I think their preparation on this map has certainly paid off. They have looked very rehearsed. They seem to know the lines of sight, the angles. They know where they want it to be, where the movement from TC would be. And this is a lesson, I think, for all the teams in the tournament, where preparation really does pay off. And it shows in this match absolutely just immense from 82nd. These are 2 teams that on paper are extremely well matched, extremely even, and I think the difference maker here was just MGs everywhere, positioning known to 82nd, and that's their advantage heading into this match, right? Like, they win on match 1, and then all of a sudden the lower seeded team really does get a big advantage, right? Like, because then it's just like, okay, well, now we won on where we probably shouldn't have. We've done all the rehearsing and all the practice on our map. And barring like a major push here in the final minute, TC it looks to be headed to the loser bracket. And, I don't think that heading into match 1 that, TC ever thought they would be in this position. And I think 82nd might also be a little bit surprised because they've just had such a great showing in this second match. And I think, a morale starts to tick lower in games like this where you're dying a lot, you can't gain ground, it feels like you're running into a wall. And that is certainly what it's looked like from above. I'd be curious to know what comms were like for the TC team in this match. But, I mean, you just have to give credit where credit is due. 82nd has looked commanding in this match.
Yeah, they've been extremely strong. They've been unflappable. They've done a lot of great flanking maneuvers. They've pinched at the right times. They haven't pushed too far. They haven't overextended. Just a 10 out of 10 showing from 82AD here today.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to give them credit. Like, they came in, they found a way to beat TC on their map, and that match was extremely close. I mean, it came down to a little bit of luck there at the very end that got 82nd the win. But they took advantage of the luck, and they advanced, and they made it work. And then they just kind of dominated this match from start to finish. And that was just an extremely strong showing. And as time expires, 82nd is heading to the winners final as the new 2 seed against RO next weekend. And, TC still in the tournament. They've dropped to the losers bracket. And the result has just come in. DC has just defeated TA in that losers round 4 matchup. So it is going to be a TC-DC matchup in losers round 5 next weekend. And 82nd's going to go to the winners final. And I think RO 82nd is going to be an incredible match next week. I can't wait
It's going to be extremely interesting.
Amazing. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that.
And I think in this case, I was waiting for today's match to say this, but I felt very strongly that the winner of today's match was definitely in the top 2 of this tournament, right? And it looks like the seeding of the tournament has lined up with where these teams have kind of landed. I do think that 82nd and RO are the 2 strongest teams in the tournament, and they are meeting each other in the winners final, and that is a good tournament. That means that the tournament has done what it needed to do. So now we still have a couple of games to go. We're not quite done yet. We still have 4 more matches to go, or 4 more match days, I should say, to go over the next 2 weekends. And we are going to go and find out if OC and MPA are heading to a match 3. We might be joining that one. But that wraps up the semifinal. And man, just huge shout out to Gem and the 82nd team. They came to play. And that was just a really impressive match to watch.
That was a hell of a game.
Yeah, it was an impressive performance. It was amazing.
Very, very, very strong showing. So, double elimination tournament. TC is not out of this. They need to now win a few rounds in the loser bracket against some fairly strong teams, especially as we get deeper into this tournament to get into the championship. But there's still a path for them. But yeah, RO and 82nd next weekend. I am looking forward to that one. But that is it for now. We're going to see. We might be joining the third match of OC and MPA, waiting to find out what happens. But that is all for now. Thank you, Chef, and thank you, Tom, for joining. This is an awesome game, and thanks for joining us in the HLL Summer Invitational 2021.
Yeah, great. It was a great afternoon. Thanks.
Yeah, fantastic to watch.